for me, the story for
I can't tell if you're
I'm dead serious.
Go on,
for months leading up to it was Ferguson, Chiesa.
Well, we had to watch sporadically because we were at fights. We had our own guys fighting and competing that night, but we had a nice stream going for the most part on the car ride. It was a long car ride. But the Chiesa-Ferguson fight I thought was interesting. So in watching it, it was short-lived, obviously.
Yep.
Chiesa won. I mean, by the time it started, Chiesa was like minus like 550. It was pretty wild, which makes sense. But then in watching it, and you guys can watch it back, and I'm not saying there was any tomfoolery, shenanigans at play. It almost presented like Chiesa like didn't want to like hurt him.
Yeah.
Like it was that egregious. It was like sad. Well, the fight itself, by the way, so there was very little physical exchanges. Chiesa gets the takedown, takes back without much,
it was academic.
Struggling. He sinks
the
in a
story of the fight wasn't the fight.
Yes, go on.
That's where I'm at.
Go
so
on.
you wrestle, you leave your shoes by the mat.
Yeah.
In MMA, you leave your gloves.
Correct.
Tony left one glove.
He left one
He
glove.
Michael Jacksoned it on the way out. And then they're like, is this it? And he's like, nah, like there's still work to be done. Like, what you lost your last 8 in a row.
So in watching it, I actually liked the fact that Tony lost and didn't get hurt.
Yeah. So that's like, when there's no way he's winning that fight. And there's very few ways that he comes out relatively unscathed.
Correct.
And Chiesa just taken back immediately. That was
Chiesa,
pretty good.
Chiesa's like really not like a title contender threat, but like when Chiesa's on, he is like a dominant wrestler.
Yep.
And like he could have like mounted this dude, smashed him out with elbows. Like Tony's in a way where, I mean, that's his 8th consecutive loss, I believe. Which it's just not a great look. And then but this is an opportunity to say like, hey, I've had a million fights in the UFC, like a legitimate all-time great.
Yep.
Gave the fans a ton of shit. And like again, we've been like fucking around, like joking around like the corpse of Tony and stuff. But the reality is he's so far past his prime, like, and it's not his doing. Fighters fight, dude. Like, like the guy is a maniac.
Well, so that's kind of they interviewed him. I don't know if you saw it was an international reporter asked me. They're like, Muhammad Makayev. Also, like comment section, like I'm sure we butchered that name. Write that one down. They love when we fucking pronounce names wrong. But he said Makayev has won 7 fights in a row and just got released. You've lost 7 fights in a row because it's prior to the fight. Like, how do you feel about like the fairness of that? And Tony's like, I don't really listen to people. It's like, well, maybe you should.
My fear is this. The UFC will not renew Tony at this point. I don't believe.
I hope they don't.
But if they don't, I don't want to see him in fucking bare knuckle.
No, I know.
I don't want to see him in anything else. I don't think PFL or anyone will fuck with him, but like he could end up in Japan or something.
You always see those one-offs. So like the Chuck Liddell Tito Ortiz fight, where
man.
Chuck like couldn't walk up the stairs for the presser.
And a guy like Tony has already held on way too long. It's just.
And his style was always very, I don't want to say reckless, but like he didn't give a fuck about taking damage.
No, he traded like a maniac,
like
and the fights he won were just so telling, like the Pettis fights and shit like that. They were brutal, dude. So other fights in the card, you have Shara Bullet. Shara Bullet's an interesting cat because he is exciting and stuff. He just finished his last fight in his contract, but the deal with him, I think he will get re-signed. He struggles to fight in America. I don't know. It's partially visa issues. It's partially that eyeball. So I don't know. I know that he has trouble getting sanctioned. I believe the eye is fake. At the very least,
so it's funny. So
I
I know that he's had like surgeries on the eye and stuff, and I've read specifically it says doctors recommended removing it. But like if you look at him for 2 seconds, his right eye doesn't work. But what I'm saying is like I feel like you could pick a better looking fake eye if you had.
I mean, Mike Bisping fought with a fake eye to the point that
people didn't know.
I mean, he lied about it. Like Mike Bisping, you knew his eye was fucked up, but you just didn't know that he was blind in it. Yeah. But Shara, you look before he joined the UFC, you went, "Oh my god, that dude's clearly blind in that eye." And then
we've talked. There's in the United States, it's tough to get sanctioned if you have one eye, but there are
places in the United States where you can get sanctioned with one eye. I know it for a fact.
Under like the big blanket UFC banner, because we talk about the one-eyed wolf. Is in
Robinson
Power Slap,
Perez.
and he's in Power Slap. Yep. That's owned by Dana and company.
And he fought Ali Feliz in New Jersey. Yep. He just fought in Tennessee.
But as far as I know, and I don't want to speak out of turn, but I don't think he was cleared to fight in BKFC at Mohegan Sun in Connecticut.
I think there was an issue with medicals there.
And I think it was because of his eye.
So there are commissions that will not allow you to fight with one eye. Obviously, like having one eyeball is a medical condition that is going to impact you. But I know for a fact a guy like Perez, who's a motherfucker. That guy's a maniac, and I love watching him fight. But I know he's gotten cleared in America, and it's like on the straight and narrow. And he fought Ali Feliz, who was a multi-time national Olympic. I'm sorry. He made the Olympic team. He actually forewent the Olympic team to sign with like Top Rank or something. And he's like 4-0 as a pro.
Yeah, Shara Bullet, because I remember like you follow a little more of the boutique leagues. I guess is like the
when
best
he was
way.
coming out, dude.
You're like, dude, this guy's legit and scary. And then in the UFC, I'm like, I mean, he's very good. Obviously, he's 14-0 or something now.
Yeah, he's 14-0 as a pro fighter, but he definitely still needs to develop his wrestling, certainly. And then there was something else on the card that was of interest.
The Dern fight.
Dern, I thought looked good. I thought the
striking was improved, definitely.
I thought the fight itself was good. And then
her stand up looked vastly improved, I thought.
And then you have Sandhagen versus Nurmagomedov. Umar Nurmagomedov. Fuck you guys. Umar. So anyways, it was kind of, I don't want to say a snoozer, but it was what you expected. Sandhagen's great, but Umar's wrestling is just
stifling.
It's stifling, man. He's going to be tough to beat. And it looks like Merab is pissed that it looks like he might leapfrog him, Umar. So yeah, overall, a very kind of
decent card. It's fine.
Yeah.